building a legacy in your marriage. Today, we step into the second pillar of legacy, and honestly, one of the most sacred foundations in your entire life, your marriage. Because after your walk with God, your relationship with your spouse is the single greatest influence you will ever have on the legacy that you leave behind. Not your ministry, not your career, and not your accomplishments, your covenant. Marriage is not a contract. It's not a convenience. It's not a temporary partnership. It is a holy, God-designed covenant that represents Christ in the church, and it carries generational influence. Marriage is a legacy multiplier. I want you to hear this very clearly. The health of your marriage becomes the health of your home, and the health of your home becomes the health of your legacy. Your spouse is not just part of your life, they are part of your legacy story. Your children are watching, your community is watching, and heaven is watching. Not to judge you, but because marriage is one of the most powerful testimonies of God's faithfulness on earth. And it doesn't have to be perfect to be powerful. It just has to be rooted. The call that God gives to husbands. Paul says in Ephesians 5, husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. This is not sentimental. This is sacrificial. This is leadership through love, not dominance, not control, but surrender. Christ's likeness in a marriage looks like this: laying down pride, choosing humility, leading through service, protecting the unity of your home, honoring your spouse publicly and privately, and nourishing them spiritually and emotionally. If you want to know what real leadership looks like, look at Jesus washing feet. The call that God gives to both spouses. Marriage is not who's right. It feels like that sometimes. I admit it. Marriage is, are we united? It's not who wins. It's, did we protect the covenant? A covenant marriage means you fight for unity, not victory. You pursue your spouse intentionally. You forgive quickly. You communicate honestly. You choose grace over assumptions. You show up with presence, not just proximity. It's the daily choice to love even when you don't feel like loving. Because marriage isn't built on emotion, it's built on commitment. Pursuit shouldn't stop after I do. Somewhere along the way, a lot of couples stop pursuing each other. They stop dating. They stop listening. They stop connecting, and they stop trying. But pursuit is not a dating season behavior. It's a marriage-long posture. Pursue your spouse's heart. Pursue their needs. Pursue their dreams. Pursue their healing. Pursue their joy. Because intentional pursuit is one of the strongest roots you can plant in your marriage. Prayer is the most intimate act of marriage. You can share a house, share finances, share a bed, but praying together, that is soul-level intimacy. Prayer invites God into your marriage as the third strand, the one who holds you when you can't hold each other. So pray together. Pray over one another. Pray for unity. Pray for healing. Pray for passion. Pray for purpose. Prayer isn't the last resort. It's the lifeline. A word for those not married or in struggle. If you're single, don't skip this chapter. Use it as preparation. If your marriage is struggling, this chapter is not condemnation, it's hope. God restores, God heals, God strengthens, God reconnects hearts, and God can do more in one moment of surrender than you can do in a decade of trying in your own strength. This week's Legacy Challenge is simple. I want you to do one intentional thing to invest in your marriage. Just one. A handwritten note, a real conversation, a date night, a prayer together, a moment of honesty, a moment of forgiveness, a small act of service. One intentional seed can produce generational fruits. Before you go, I want to share something that will help couples even more. The marriage chapter in Rooted in Purpose is one of the sections people tell me impacts them the most. Not because it gives tips, but because it gives clarity about what God calls marriage to be and how to build one that strengthens your legacy. If you want to walk through this with your spouse, or you want to rebuild the spiritual foundation of your home, I encourage you to grab a copy of the book on Amazon or at DustinRoyerBooks.com. Use it as a guide, a conversational tool, or a starting point for deeper connection. My prayer is that it breathes life into your marriage and roots your home in God's design. I thank you for being here. Pray that you have a blessed week, and we will see you next week for Session 9.